Hey, this is ENFP Dream Fan. This will be a little bit of a longer episode today as I'll start with going over what the AD deal means for Atlanta and why the Dream decided to move on from Megan Walker. And the bulk of this episode will go over the remaining 10 active players on the Atlanta Dream roster, what I'd like to see from them in the next stretch of games, and what's been a struggle for some of them and what we want to improve on and everything. Not going to lie, I am really nervous for this next four-game stretch. It starts with the Phoenix Mercury tonight, who will be looking to avenge their blowout loss to us within the last couple weeks. And then it's on to facing three title contenders back to back to back in the Connecticut Sun, the Chicago Sky again, and then the Washington Mystics for the third time this season. So if we don't win the game tonight, we could easily be 7-9 after this four-game stretch. If we beat the Mercury tonight and then beat one of those three teams I mentioned, I'm incredibly optimistic again about our playoff chances and also maybe being able to make a surprise dent in those playoffs as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I know I say this a lot, but I really think this is the biggest game of the season tonight, and getting a win before we face those three title contenders and everything. I'm really hoping we come out strong and obviously finish strong, which we've struggled with so far this season. But again, I absolutely see this as a necessity, getting this win tonight to continue on the right note. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the topics I have. I did set this up by chapter, so you will be able to skip through to the topics or players that you would like to view and everything. And then I also attached a document going over projections for all the players compared to my preseason projections and what they did in 2021. Aside from AD that I just added to the list because they didn't play last season and obviously weren't with the Dream when I was making these preseason projections. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So to begin, just going over AD. During the offseason, I went over trade scenarios the Atlanta Dream could potentially pursue, and AD was on that list of players I thought that we should acquire. I did a full episode of trade scenarios with the New York Liberty, and AD was in that first scenario. I just think Atlanta is such a good fit, and I just can't say how much I'm ecstatic about AD being a part of the Atlanta Dream. I just think this is such a good fit, and yeah, on Serby Terrell's podcast, I totally forgot that AD was on the roster when Tanisha Wright was still in the WNBA. So what are the chances of that she's now coaching her and everything. So I just think this is an excellent fit. With her growing up in the Atlanta area, being a part of the first Atlanta Dream commercial, I just think this is going to be an excellent spot for her to grow into closer to the potential she had out of Louisville, where she was drafted second overall in 2019. In that senior season with Louisville back in 2019, she averaged 21.2 points, 3.3 assists, and 1.5 steals while only averaging 1.8 turnovers in about 32 minutes per game. So just astounding stats, and you can see why she was drafted second overall. In their rookie campaign with the Liberty, they averaged 9.7 points, including a stretch where AD had double-digit point outings in 7 of 8 games, and a season-high 20 points against the Minnesota Lynx on June 12th. This is a very low-risk, high-reward move for Atlanta, and this is also a non-guaranteed contract, but I do believe that we're going to invest a couple seasons to them, at least I hope. With making this move and everything, but these are the type of moves that Dan Padover was talking about before the season, and I know this doesn't mean anything to management or ownership, but I am definitely done complaining about us not picking up a backcourt player sooner and everything, because who knows how long they were talking with the New York Liberty and getting AD, and it just makes a lot more sense why we didn't want to assign another player during this time and everything. But yeah, I just absolutely love this move. If everything works out, AD and Christy Wallace are going to be a great shooting guard tandem for a long time here in Atlanta. And that's just so exciting, that the potential that group has and everything. That's the stuff of title contenders to me and everything. If AD can get closer to the form they had in 2019. So really rooting for them. I don't have a lot of high expectations for this season. I want them to just be able to get used to playing the game again and everything, get back into the feel of it, and then hopefully over the next couple seasons, we see them blossom and everything, and turn into the best version of the dream we can and everything. I could definitely be wrong, like I was with Christy Wallace, as I didn't even have her making the team this season, and look where she's at. So I'll definitely be rooting for AD to just shatter my expectations starting tonight against the Phoenix Mercury. But again, regardless what happens, I think this is an amazing move for the Atlanta Dream and for their future. As far as for this season, it does show that the future takes a front seat over competing this season. Again, AD could contribute and help make an impact and put us in a better place than we are now. But the prioritization for us is the future and everything. So if they don't contribute for us in a meaningful way this season, it's still a win for us and what they'll be able to potentially contribute in future seasons and everything. Again, we're going through a really hard stretch in the first part of the first third of the season. Like we played the Indiana Fever 3 times. We played the Minnesota Lynx. We played the LA Sparks in the pre-Fisher era. Sorry, didn't mean to throw that dish. But we played a lot of the lower tier teams. And it's great that we have a 7-5 record and everything, but this is where we really meet the meat of the schedule and everything. And so far, we have not been able to beat one of those top tier teams in the top 5. And before we do that, the playoffs aren't a guarantee and everything. And I definitely want to see Atlanta Dream playoff basketball. And this is a great 4-game stretch to see where we stand as a team and everything. And just super excited for what the future brings. But moving on to the sadder part of the deal on acquiring AD, and that was unfortunately Megan Walker being traded away. And she honestly was never really given a full opportunity to be a part of the future in Atlanta. In 5 of her last 7 games, she received 6 or less minutes. I really believe she has a role in the WNBA, at minimum as a 3-point specialist. And she had 2 games for the Dream where she connected on 2 3-pointers and had a season-high 11 points against the Sparks on May 11th. After we chose not to extend her with the option we had earlier this season to give her a guaranteed spot for next season, I felt like the writing was on the wall, and it wasn't a huge surprise that we decided to go another direction during the season and everything to make a move if we knew she wasn't going to be a part of our future and everything. And with trading her, it was more clearing the cap space that we needed and everything. There was not a way to keep the full player roster that we had and acquire AD and everything. So that around 20K cap space went to the New York Liberty. They've received Carzola in return, who's been playing in Spain. And we don't know when she would be able to play and everything. And we get someone that, again, has just an immense amount of potential, a former 2nd overall pick. And I'm really hoping that they're able to get back to that potential again that they had back in 2019. I'm just so ecstatic for this move. I also really like them as a person and the things they've said, and it just seems like they're really going to fit into this Atlanta Dream locker room and this vision for the future that Dan Pat over in Tanisha Wright have. So I woke up happy about this move as well. Was just flipping out when I saw it on Twitter and everything. I was taking a break from my phone, and Yeah, saw the news about an hour later after it happened, and I saw it first with Megan Walker getting traded. I'm like, is this an article from 2020 with the Liberty waving Megan Walker? But yeah, scrolled down and saw the AD news and just flipped out because this is I believe, a special player, and I'm so excited that she's a part of that they're a part of the Atlanta Dream. Sorry. But yeah, so on to what this means for the Atlanta Dream lineup, and I'll be honest, and I don't have a clue what the usage will for AD will be. I know our intentions will most likely be to want to play them, especially with Erica Wheeler now out, and then Tiffany Hayes still not having an exact timetable. With Erica Wheeler, and I am not a medical expert by any means, but just looking at WebMD, the minimum is 2 to 4 weeks for a foot sprain. I'm hoping it's less than that, and it's not something more serious than what I read. But yeah, the opportunity is going to be there for them to potentially get more minutes until one or both of them return to the lineup and everything. They didn't really get much of an opportunity with the Liberty this season. They had one game where they played 19 minutes and they went 0 for 7 from the floor. They took some solid looks and everything. Maybe going to a new team and starting over is going to help them get to where they want to be sooner rather than later. Again, I'm just hoping that they shatter expectations, but again, just cannot say this enough. If it doesn't work out, if they continue their cold shooting and everything, I'm not going to be worried at all. I just think this is a fantastic future move for the Atlanta Dream, and I'm just so excited for what they bring to the table and everything. But yeah, I'm now going to move on to just going over the players and what I've seen most recently from them and everything, and what I think they need to do in order for the Atlanta Dream to succeed. Again, I do have this broken down in chapters, so feel free to skip through the players that you want to hear most about and everything. I did this by position, so I'll be starting at point guard, where I have Ari McDonald, and then I put Christy Wallace in there because someone else has to play point guard when Ari McDonald is taking a breather on the bench, and I just think she's the most likely prospect for this and everything. But starting with Ari, she gets the full opportunity fans of her have been waiting for. On the defensive end especially, she's made a profound impact the majority of the season, and the only concern on that end of the ball is just continuing to stay out of foul trouble. She had 5 fouls in the last outing against the Storm, and she already played over 30 minutes. She could have played even more if she hadn't been in foul trouble and everything. So just being tenacious on defense but being smart will be just absolutely crucial for her. She's earned at least 2 steals in 5 consecutive games for a total of 16, including an outstanding 7-steal effort against the Minnesota Lynx on June 1st. Only Angel McCoughtry accomplished this amount of steals in a 5-game span, which she did an outstanding 12 times between her rookie and sophomore campaigns. So again, it just shows how amazing Angel was for the Atlanta Dream and her long career with us and everything. Ari is also second on the Dream in plus minus at plus 33, behind only Monique Billings, who I'll go over a lot later. Onto the offensive end for her, and this is where I'm most concerned about Ari, where she's had spurts of excellence this season, but hasn't been consistent. In the last 4 games, she's been a combined 6 of 23 from the floor, so 26%, including 1 of 9 beyond the arc, which is 11%. And sorry, the last 3 games instead of the last 4. Excluding her 5 of 7 3-point effort against the Aces earlier this season in garbage time, she's only shot 28% total from beyond the arc, which is her primary calling card on the offensive end, so it's concerning she's gone 27 of 97. We're going to absolutely need that to improve during this next 4-game stretch and everything. I've liked the creativity I've seen at times, and her being able to get to the rim and her being able to knock down mid-range jumpers and everything, but we're going to need it on a more consistent basis throughout a whole game for her to have a positive impact for the Atlanta Dream and this opportunity she's been given. More concerning for me than the shooting is how she hasn't been able to contribute as much with creating opportunities for her teammates. She's had more turnovers than assists, including in her last 3 games where she's had 4 assists compared to 7 turnovers. Last season, she was averaging 2 assists compared to just 1 turnover, and this was in around 8 minutes less per game than this season. So only having a .1 difference between this season and last season is not great and not what I expected. So I'm hoping she's able to take it to the next level with being given this increased opportunity. In total, she's averaged 2.1 assists and 2.7 turnovers through 12 games. On to the next player, and Christy Wallace, and again have her listed as a point guard, but she's primarily still going to be playing shooting guard. And I think she'll no doubt just continue to receive a crazy amount of playing time for us and everything. She's already played 30 minutes or more in 2 of the last 4 games, and especially with Wheeler out, I don't see a way that she doesn't continue to play over 30 minutes as long as, same as Aries, she stays out of foul trouble and everything with how competitive she is on defense and everything. Throughout the season, she's shown she can be a reliable asset on both ends of the floor, and I cannot just emphasize enough how much of a pleasant surprise she's been on both ends of the floor for the Dream this season. Starting with her shooting, she's had 5 double-digit point outings this season, including back-to-back games against the Mercury and Lynx, where she respectively earned 17 and 18 points. So we could definitely use more of that, and against the Lynx, she knocked down her first 5 3-pointers. So not expecting that on a night-to-night basis, but it is nice to see her 3-point shot is finally starting to fall, which was a big deal to me. In my previous episode before this one, I talked about how it wasn't sustainable for Christy Wallace to be struggling beyond the arc like she had been before the 6-game stretch, and it's nice to see it come together for her and everything. In her last game against the Storm, she sunk the only 2 3-pointers for the Dream, and that's really depressing because we only shot about 10% from beyond the arc. So we're not going to win many games with that either if we're only able to knock down 10% of our 3-pointers. And I'm hoping that's something that goes the opposite direction against the Phoenix Mercury tonight. She's the second most important player to me in the Dream's backcourt behind Ryan Howard. I just think she's someone that we've been able to rely upon and just has a bright future in Atlanta. She's also been just a great playmaker for us, and this is why I had her in the point guard position. In 10 of the first 12 games she's played this season, she's earned multiple assists, including 11 assists over her last 5 games with only 5 turnovers. She is 4th in Atlanta Dream franchise history with 31 through 12 games to begin her WNBA career. And then on the defensive side, she swiped at least 1 steal in 10 of 12 games, and she has also earned 3 blocks. And just an overall complete player, and I'm hoping she's able to have a really good game tonight against the Phoenix Mercury. But onto the shooting guard position, and in this spot I have Ryan Howard. I think that she is primarily going to be playing between the 2 and 3. And then I have AD on this list. I already went over them prior to these player profiles and everything, so I don't have a lot of insight with not seeing them in a Dream uniform yet. So I'm just really curious to see what they're able to provide for us and everything. But I'm just going to be focusing on Ryan Howard for the shooting guard position. And she's still just been phenomenal. Even when she's had her shooting struggles and everything, she just still finds ways to contribute. I love her competitive drive, and she just has a long, bright Hall of Fame future ahead of her and everything. And I'm just so excited that she's part of the Atlanta Dream. She's just flat out, again, franchise altering. There's no way that we're in the playoff race without her in the lineup. Starting with her shooting, Ryan has earned 15 or more points in 7 to 12 games, including 4 20-plus point games. On the playmaking side, in her first 8 games of the season, she earned 22 assists with 9 turnovers, and that's 2.8 assists per game. In the last 4 games, however, since her 6 assist effort in the last game against the Mercury on 5/29, she's only had 3 assists and 4 turnovers. And I think that just really comes down to Ryan Howard feeling like she has to do too much on her own with other players not knocking down shots enough. So I don't want this to turn into what Ryan had to deal with at Kentucky her senior season. I want this to be a place where she can just continue to grow as a player and play the way she wants to be, setting up opportunities for her teammates, being able to contribute on the defensive end. She has the capability of being an elite player in so many different ways, but if she feels like she has to put more on her shoulders and everything, sometimes it's not going to go as well. There's going to be times where it's like the SEC tournament and she can take us on her back. But I do not think this is what we can depend on to make the playoffs and everything. With this being a longer stretch, we're going to have other players knock down shots to get the true Ryan Howard that we got towards the beginning of the season and everything, especially with us going against contending teams on a regular basis now. Yeah, we just need to make this a more comfortable environment for Ryan Howard. On the defensive end, Ryan has earned 8 steals along with 2 blocks in the last 4 games. So again, just continues to provide for us in every single way. And just a stat I found to show how important she is to the Dream's success. We're 7-5 right now. In those 7 wins that the Dream have had, Ryan Howard is a team leading plus 62, but in the 5 losses, she's a minus 104. And again, that just comes down to her feeling like she has to do too much. We keep her in the game because she's the only reliable player we have that we know can get us back in the games and everything. So it just kind of creates a snowball effect and everything. And I don't want this when we've lost this season and everything. Some of those games have been blowouts, like to the Las Vegas Aces and the second game against the Washington Mystics. If we're going to be competitive and hang with these top tier teams, we have to have a consistent effort throughout the lineup and everything. And again, I'm hoping to see that tonight against the Phoenix Mercury. On to small forward, and I just have Nia Coffey under this position. Ryan Howard is also going to play significant minutes, but I moved Nia Coffey from the 4 to the 3, which is what I was expecting prior to the season and everything. But just with us having lineup deficiencies with Wheeler and Tip out, I really see Coffey playing in the 3 like she did the majority of the season with the LA Sparks last season. And I'm hoping it will help her shooting woes moving back into this position and everything. Defensively, she's not showing a lot on the stat sheet as far as steals and blocks, but she's consistently contested shots and just held her own in tough matchups and everything. I've really liked her play, but what's been really concerning is her shooting, where in 6 of 12 games, Coffey has shot 30% or lower from the floor. All 6 of these games took place in 2 3-game stretches. One of the stretches was the first 3 games of the season where she went 4 of 22, which was 18%. And in 3 games between May 24th and June 1st, she shot 2 of 18, 11% from the floor. She's had her moments this season. Her best shooting outing was against the Fever on June 5th, where she scored 16 points off of 7-11 shooting while earning her second double-double of the season. But again, it's just been really inconsistent, and what's concerning is I'm hoping she's not entering another cold spurt, as she just went 2 of 7 against the Seattle Storm. She has to snap back into it. Again, this is going to take a full team effort to be able to remain competitive until we get more bodies into the lineup again and everything. Another concerning current trend for her that I've seen is after only having 10 total turnovers in a 5-game stretch from 520 to 6-3. She's had 9 in her last 2 games. So the way she's playing right now, I really think that she's going to have to earn that playing time again and everything. Have the starting lineup be Ari, Christy, Ryan, Monique, and Cheyenne, and then put Nia back in there once her shot starts falling again and she's able to control the turnovers. Because I just don't think this is the best decision for the Dream right now, keeping her as a starter until she can get back to that potential again. And this isn't to dig on Nia Coffey or anything. Like I think she was the best free agent acquisition that we had this season, and the best move we made outside of getting Ryan Howard with the first overall pick and everything. I just think she contributes in so many different ways, and it's the same as I was talking about with Christy Wallace last episode and everything, with the 3 starting to fall. I just think averages will come back together and everything, and she's going to get closer to what she was last season, where she was averaging 8.3 points per game off of 42.1% shooting. And this season so far, she's only averaged 6.8 points while shooting 32.9% from the floor. Also in 2021, she was averaging 1.6 3-point makes per game, and she was shooting 41.7% beyond the arc. I know that's a really high number, so I'm not expecting that. But I'm definitely expecting better than the 24% she's shooting now and only averaging half a 3-point make. If we can get it closer to 1 3-point make per game, and even just getting to the 30 to 33% mark to start, I think that will be a huge step in the right direction and everything, and it will lead to her deserving more playing time and everything. But right now, just how things have been and everything, I do think that she shouldn't get more than 20 minutes until the shooting and turnovers get under control and everything. But on to power forward, where I'm going to be going over Monique Billings, Naz Hillman, and Mom Premier. Starting with Monique Billings, and the limited usage of her has been just astounding to me this season, with the success she's had on both ends of the floor. In her 9 games played so far this season, she's only had 2 games where she's played over 20 minutes. To put it in perspective, to end the 2021 season, Billings played at least 26 minutes for each of the last 10 games. So her receiving this less playing time is probably a little jarring to her. She has struggled with turnovers at times, but I just think what she's providing does not match up with the minutes she's been receiving and everything. Even with the limited playing time, she is averaging a team-high 7.4 rebounds per game and is 12th overall in the WNBA in offensive rebounds per game at 2.2. Her shooting has been by no means fantastic, although she did shoot 5 of 7 from the floor against the Seattle Storm last game, and she's shooting 45% overall. But yeah, she's definitely had her cold spurts too, but it has been more consistent than Coffey, sadly, and also she's really improved on her free throw shooting, which has been a really pleasant surprise. She's only missed 1 free throw and is shooting 94.7%. Coming into the season, she had never shot over 78%, and last season shot 67.5%. So you can tell it's something she really worked on in the offseason, and it's playing dividends. Especially playing at the power forward position, you're going to have more opportunities at the line, and it's nice to see that she's taking more advantage of those opportunities, especially since the line has been an area of struggle over the last few games for the Atlanta Dream. Back when I was going over Ari McDonald, I mentioned plus minus that Monique Billings was first on the team, and it's not even close. She's a team leading plus 60 when she is on the court. So it just gives you a good image of what she provides to the team and everything. Ari McDonald is closest at plus 33. So she really has a positive impact on what she provides. For a while now, she's provided consistent effort on the defensive end, and Yeah, especially on the offensive glass, getting those extra opportunities and everything, I think it's essential, and she deserves to receive more playing time, and I hope that happens starting against the Phoenix Mercury tonight. I'm hoping for at least 23 to 25 minutes tonight. I just really think she's deserved this opportunity, and to build up her resume and what's going to be a contract season for her this season, and being an unrestricted free agent for the first time. But on to Naz Hillman, and yeah, she's had more opportunities than I was anticipating this season. Part of that was Monique Billings being in health and safety protocols for a couple games. But yeah, in Hillman's first 7 games she's participated in this season, she has gone 3 straight games with single-digit minutes. Her usage will be interesting to watch, with once again the Dream being shorthanded, with 2 players out of the lineup. But in her 2 outings with 18 or more minutes against the Fever on 5/17 and against the Mystics on 5/24, Naz combined for 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists with only 1 turnover. Especially with a team that's had the most turnovers in the WNBA, being able to take care of the ball is going to provide her with more minutes and everything and more opportunities. If she can hit deep shots like she did in the last game against the Mercury late in the game, I really think we're in business, and it shows the type of prospect we got, and that she was, again, the steal of the draft at 15, as she can add a consistent outside shot to her game. I'm really excited to see what happens and to see if she can push for more minutes this season and everything. But same with AD, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, I still think there's immense potential in her, and I think she's going to get a substantial increase in minutes once the roster turnover takes place and everything. I see her playing either backup at the 4 behind Cheyenne Parker, or someone else that we acquire and everything. But I definitely think she will be one of the first players off the bench. And sorry, I'm talking about the future too much and everything, but I really like Naz's game, and I'm excited to see what she's able to do with potentially an increased playing time over these next few games. But on to Montpremier, and this is another one that I'm a little baffled by with the amount of time that we played her. Why did we even make the move to sign her? She's only gotten to play in 5 games for us for a total of 20 minutes, and last season with the Connecticut Sun, she played in 32 games, averaging 8.6 minutes. So this is a significant drop-off for her, and not something I was expecting when she was able to crack the lineup in what was a title contending team last season, and to see her play so little is very strange to me and everything, and I'm hoping it changes. I posted a poll on Twitter on whether the Dream should release her or not, and it was because of my frustration with her limited playing time and everything, and maybe going another direction. Before the AD trade took place, I was thinking maybe we should get a guard, but now I'm just hoping that with having a 10-player active roster, she is able to get a sufficient opportunity to prove that she's a part of the Atlanta Dream's future and everything, because again, she hasn't gotten any sort of chance to show that she deserves another opportunity for next season with the limited minutes that she received. Going back to her time with the Sun last season, she had 13 games with double-digit minutes, and on 6-11 against the Sky, she earned 11 rebounds. So the potential is there. I think she really deserves more playing time. I'll go over this a little more when I go over Kia Vaughn, but I think she should be able to get some of those minutes and at least be able to crack double digits and get like 10 to 11 minutes per game. To see what we have in her and everything. I just think it's worth a shot, again, especially with us having a shorthanded roster. On to center, where I'll be going over lastly Cheyenne Parker and Kia Vaughn. Starting with Parker, if I had to pick 2 players that were the most responsible for the Dream being in a playoff spot right now, it would be Ryan Howard and Cheyenne Parker, without a doubt in my mind. Parker has just been phenomenal for us, and I think she deserves to be in the All-Star game in Chicago. And the fans are letting me down by her not being on the leadership board at all. So I'm hoping whoever fills up the rest of the spot, whether it be coaches, GMs, or players, that she's put into that lineup and is able to return to Chicago, where she played a few seasons with the Sky and everything. But she has just been just absolutely phenomenal and the MVP of the front court for us. She's had double-digit points in 9 of 12 games, including a 19-point effort against the Chicago Sky, where she was the primary reason we even had a chance to win that game at the end and everything. She just went absolutely bonkers in the third quarter. It was a little baffling to me. She didn't play much in the fourth quarter of that game when she was primarily responsible for us being competitive, but I will say that she started receiving more playing time. She got over 30 minutes in the last game, and I'm hoping this is a sign to come. The level she's playing at, she might be like a second team player or something in the WNBA at center, which isn't even her primary position. So the adjustments she's made and the success she's had has just been phenomenal, and I'm just so ecstatic that she's going to be on the roster as long as we don't make any trades. She has a guaranteed contract with us for next season as well, so just super excited that she's in the fold with us. In the last game against the Seattle Storm, she scored 13 points, 10 rebounds, along with 3 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Just a perfect image of what she means to the Atlanta Dream and the multiple ways that she's able to contribute and everything. If you haven't already voted on your All-Star ballot, be sure to do hashtag Cheyenne Parker on Twitter, and then also be sure to go to WNBA.com or go to the app and vote Cheyenne Parker, because she is not getting enough love or support. We need to vote for her, and we need to vote for Ryan Howard to make sure both of them have a trip to Chicago, at least as far as we can control and everything. So please, if you're listening, put in those votes for those two players. But yeah, really quick before moving on to Kia Vaughn, I am still waiting for Cheyenne Parker to have success beyond the arc like I've seen for Christy Wallace. And I just really think it's a matter of time. And on Twitter a couple hours ago, I predicted that she's going to knock down 3 or more 3-pointers tonight. I just think it's just bound to happen. She's had good looks. She's been able to knock down 3-pointers in the past. In fact, like she's shot 30% or better in 3 of the last 4 seasons. So this is something that's part of her repertoire and everything. And if she can get those shots falling, I see her getting closer to 20-point outings, which would be phenomenal for a team that struggled with offense and scoring points. To have 2 players that are a threat to get 20 points or more every night would just be playoff changing for us and everything, and have us competing for home court advantage again and everything. I'm just really hoping for success for Cheyenne, and I'm hoping she's able to continue the momentum in other ways for us and continue being that front court MVP. Lastly, I want to touch on Kia Vaughn, who is still the only true center on the Atlanta Dream roster. And really quick tangent before I continue on with her, but I just really think there's a deal to be made with the Dallas Wings. Just the limited amount of time that they play their centers, plus Bella Allery, who's going to be back next season and everything. It just doesn't make sense for them to carry that many centers, and especially Charlie Collier not getting a lot of playing time. I think she's just a prime prospect to go after and everything. I don't know what it would take to get her over here and everything. Maybe we trade like Montpremier or a second-round pick. But I just having a younger prospect at this position, I think would go a long ways for Atlanta and what we're trying to do. Kia Vaughn has been a good veteran presence for us. I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm just looking at the rest of our roster and everything, and us making the move for AD. It's all about making moves for, the more in the future and everything. And Kia Vaughn, I just see like a less than 1% chance that she's with us next season and everything. But anyway, moving on from that tangent, she has received 14 or more minutes in 4 of the last 6 games. So Coach Wright has really put more trust in her, and she had 24 minutes against the Chicago Sky, where she earned 4 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. And she became the first player in Atlanta Dream history to achieve the stat line at the age of 35 or older. So just phenomenal. If she can contribute on both ends like this, you're not going to hear any gripes from me and everything. But I will complain if she's playing 15 minutes and not taking a single shot attempt with 2 turnovers. We can't continue to give someone a decent amount of minutes and then not contribute in a sufficient way and everything. So I'm curious to see, again, what happens with the Phoenix Mercury going against the team she played for last season, and seeing what we decide to do with her and everything. But as I mentioned with Monique Billings, I think she deserves a substantial increase in playing time, and I think some of that will come at the 5 along with Cheyenne Parker and everything. Again, I want Monique Billings playing at least 23 to 25 minutes. I think she's the most underrated player on the Dreams bench and everything. I think she deserves an opportunity. And again, I would like to see Mom Premier, who is more likely to be a part of the Dream after this season, get some actual minutes and everything. But again, I love Kia Vaughn's veteran leadership and everything. She's been great on the boards. She's great at setting screens for her teammates and everything. I just, again, believe this season is more about setting up for the future. The playoffs will be an added bonus, and I hope it's one that we get. But yeah, I would like to see more minutes from other players and everything. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. Again, I'm super ecstatic that we started 7-5 through 12 games. If you told me before the season this would be our record, I would just be beyond pleased. As again, each section, I'm hoping the Dream go 500, because it's never happened before since there's been 8 playoff teams. That a team that finishes 500 or better doesn't make the playoffs and everything. And even at 17 and 19, I think we would have a really good chance. So just continuing to try to win 2 out of every 4 games, I think is going to go a long way for us. And once we get into the playoffs, I think we have the roster to shock the world and everything. Or if we find the consistency that I hope we're going to find this season, compete for home court advantage and it not be as much of a surprise if we do make a run into the playoffs and everything. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. And hopefully we'll all be in a good mood after the Phoenix Mercury game tonight. I'll talk to you all later.